Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Tyreek Hill, the Miami Dolphins electric wide receiver, has officially put the NFL on notice. After a tumultuous end to the 2024 season that left fans scratching their heads and pundits speculating his future, Hill is back and he's talking louder than ever. It all began with a disappointing 8-9 campaign that kept the Dolphins out of the playoffs. That absence hit Hill hard, so hard, in fact, that he vented his frustration during a gaming livestream, letting emotions spill out in ways that shocked his followers. At one point, he even hinted he might walk away from the Dolphins altogether. Social media lit up. Was Tyreek Hill done with South Beach? Would the Dolphins' most dynamic playmaker really throw in the towel after just 2 years with the team? These were real questions until Hill came forward to set the record straight and redirect the narrative in a fiery, focused new direction. What fans heard during that infamous stream, Hill now says, was pure frustration, nothing more, nothing less. I've been competitive my whole life, he told reporters during a recent training camp interview. That's how my grandparents raised me, for a player who thrives on intensity and urgency. Missing the postseason for the first time in his NFL career wasn't just a letdown, it was a personal and professional gut punch. Hill emphasized that the outburst wasn't a goodbye letter, but a wake-up call for the franchise. He urged the Dolphins front office to add some dogs, hinting that the roster needed more grit, more hunger, more of that raw, unapologetic energy it takes to contend deep into January. It was the speech of a competitor who's tired of falling short, not a quitter. That clarification mattered, and now we're seeing a much more focused version of Tyreek Hill. Part of what fueled that frustration was a dip in production that left Hill feeling like he didn't hold up his end of the bargain. Despite still putting up 959 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns, those numbers represented a step back from his usual elite standards. And it wasn't just about stats, it was about impact. Hill revealed that he had been battling a nagging wrist injury that eventually required off-season surgery. It limited his explosiveness, disrupted his rhythm with quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, and ultimately kept him from being the game changer he knows he can be. But that was last year. Now, the wrist is healed, the mindset has shifted, and the fire is burning hotter than ever. Hill said he's laser-focused on redemption in 2025, and every rep at training camp is proof of that determination. He's not just back, he's on a mission, and don't let the noise fool you. Hill isn't running from responsibility. In fact, he's stepping into it like never before, reflecting on his controversial outburst. He owned up to his mistake with maturity and poise. As a leader, I just need to do better, he said, acknowledging that his words carry weight. In and out of the locker room, Hill knows that fans, especially young ones, look up to him. There are little kids that look up to me, he added, with a noticeable tone of humility. It's a far cry from the fiery frustrations of a few months ago. This Tyreek Hill is self-aware, grounded, and ready to lead by example, not just in highlight reel plays, but in character. That evolution might be his most important step yet, especially for a team searching for leadership and direction heading into a crucial season. Still, the rumors haven't stopped swirling, with a hefty $27.75 million price tag looming for 2025, and zero guaranteed money attached to the final years of his deal. Trade whispers have naturally followed. Some insiders speculate that Miami might consider moving on from Hill if things go sideways early in the season, but Hill, he's brushing it off. I'm all in for Miami, he said flatly, putting to bed any thoughts of a holdout or trade request. Instead of dodging questions, he's been training harder than ever, grinding with his dad, busting his tail in the Florida heat, pushing his body to a place he says it's never been before. He doesn't just want to come back, he wants to come back better, and he's convinced that the NFL hasn't even seen the best version of him yet. I haven't given my best version of Tyreek yet, he declared with confidence. That's not just bold talk, it's a warning shot to the rest of the league. At 31 years old, an age where many speedsters begin to slow down, Hill insists he's still got the same burst that made him one of the most feared receivers in the game. I haven't lost a step, he said, smiling as if he knows something the rest of us don't. Watching him in training camp, reporters say he looks sharper, leaner, and more explosive than he did even seasons ago. It's a scary thought for opposing defenses. If a banged-up Hill with a bad wrist still nearly cracked 1,000 yards, what's a fully healthy, fully motivated cheetah capable of? The answer could tilt the entire balance of power in the AFC East. But this isn't just about proving the doubters wrong, it's about redemption, legacy, and love for the game. Hill said that despite the frustrations, his connection to Miami remains strong. Ever since I came here, the fanbase has been very special. He noted, and it shows. Dolphins fans haven't turned on him, instead, they've rallied, flooding social media with support and excitement. They know what he brings to the table. They've seen the breakaway touchdowns, the sideline tiptoes, the plays that make jaws drop. More importantly, they've seen a player who wants to win as badly as they do. Hill's passion might have boiled over in the offseason, but at its core, it was rooted in love for football, for the team, and for the city. That kind of loyalty, when paired with elite talent, can spark something dangerous. And Hill is ready to light the fuse. Of course, the pressure's on. The AFC is loaded. The Dolphins are chasing juggernauts like Kansas City, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. And within their own division, they've got Buffalo breathing down there necks and Aaron Rodgers returning to the Jets. Nothing is guaranteed. That's why Hill's leadership is so crucial. Miami doesn't just need big plays, they need belief. They need urgency. They need someone to set the tone. And Hill, with his fire, his flaws, and his full-circle growth, might be exactly the leader they've been searching for. His energy at camp has been contagious. Teammates are responding. Coaches are praising. Something feels different. There's a sense that this year, the Dolphins won't just show up, they'll fight, and Hill will be the one charging out front, waving the banner. So, what should fans expect when the 2025 season kicks off? Simple. Fireworks. Tyreek Hill is gearing up to remind everyone why he's one of the most dangerous weapons in the NFL. The speed, still world-class. The hands, rock solid. The mindset, sharpened by setbacks and ready for war. He's carrying more than a football this year. He's carrying expectations, redemption, and the weight of a fan base hungry for something real. But if you ask him, that's exactly the way he likes it. Pressure doesn't break Tyreek Hill, it fuels him. This isn't just a comeback season, it's a statement season. And if training camp is any indication, that statement will be loud, bold, and unforgettable. Defensive backs, take notice. The cheetah is loose, and he's faster and more focused than ever. There's a certain poetry to the whole thing. A once boiling over superstar now channels his intensity into purpose. A man who once threatened to walk away now digs in deeper than ever. Tyreek Hill's story isn't just about stats or catches, it's about growth, resilience, and redemption. It's about a player choosing to be better not just for himself, but for the people watching. The kids, the fans, the teammates in the trenches. That kind of growth doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but it wins games. It builds culture, and if Hill's mindset is contagious, this Dolphins squad could finally turn potential into reality. As the season approaches, there's one thing everyone around the league should remember. You can measure speed, but you can't measure heart, and Tyreek Hill has plenty of both. Buckle up, this season is going to be one wild ride. Still with US. Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments, what's your take on the Fins this week? There's a growing buzz around the NFL this week, and it's not just another offseason rumor. Multiple insiders are whispering that the Miami Dolphins may have just pulled off one of the most surprising coups of the summer, and what many are calling a quiet but potentially league-shifting move. The Dolphins have reportedly edged out their AFC East rivals, the New York Jets, to land veteran cornerback Jaire Alexander. That's right, Jaire Alexander, the former All-Pro and lockdown CB from the Green Bay Packers, might be headed south to the turquoise waters of Miami. Sources close to the situation suggest that negotiations between the Dolphins and Alexander's camp moved swiftly, especially after it became clear that the Jets had expressed serious interest. The deal, while not officially confirmed by the Dolphins organization, is being treated as a done deal by several league analysts. And Dolphins fans are already celebrating on social media, as if the season just kicked off. If this turns out to be true, it's a massive power move by the Dolphins front office, and it sends a clear message. Miami is going all in. This isn't just about adding depth to the secondary, it's about star power, experience, and a proven winner who brings instant credibility. Jaire Alexander isn't just another free agent pickup, he's a statement. After years of up and down performances, injuries, and inconsistent defensive backfield play, the Dolphins might have just solved one of their biggest headaches. And what's even juicier is the backdrop to this signing. The Jets, who have been quietly building one of the most fearsome defenses in the league, were allegedly in deep talks with Alexander before the Dolphins swooped in. Could this be a case of a classic NFL heist? Dolphins insiders are hinting that not only did they know of the Jets' interest, they timed their approach perfectly to steal Alexander right from under New York's nose. Alexander, who was once considered the cornerstone of the Packers' defense, has been the subject of trade talks and speculative releases for months. Injuries limited his impact in recent seasons, and there were murmurs of tension between him and Green Bay's coaching staff. That tension reportedly opened the door for other teams to make their pitch. And while the Jets had been frontrunners due to their defensive scheme and cap space, the Dolphins clearly had a more aggressive approach. The question now becomes, what version of Jaire Alexander are the Dolphins getting if he's healthy and motivated? He's an elite cover corner, capable of shadowing any WR1 in the league. If injuries continue to plague him, Miami's big gamble could backfire. Still, at this moment, fans are more focused on the potential upside than the risks. And rightfully so. When you have a chance to land a player of Alexander's caliber, you don't hesitate. There's also the fascinating aspect of division rivalry playing out in real time. The Jets and Dolphins have one of the most underrated rivalries in the NFL, and this kind of personnel tug-of-war only intensifies it. Think about it. Not only did Miami strengthen its own roster, but it also may have actively weakened a direct competitor's plans. The Jets were reportedly targeting Alexander to shore up their pass defense alongside Sauce Gardner, which would have created one of the scariest cornerback duos in the league. Now, with Alexander off the board and allegedly signing with Miami, New York's strategy may need a full revision. Jets fans, understandably, are frustrated. The team's front office has been mostly silent, but sources within the organization are reportedly disappointed and caught off guard by how quickly the Dolphins closed the deal. It's the kind of chess move that could change the landscape of the division. From a scheme perspective, Alexander fits seamlessly into what the Dolphins want to do defensively. Head coach Mike McDaniel and defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver have been clear in their vision for an aggressive, turnover-focused defense that thrives on man coverage and press techniques. Jaire excels in exactly those areas. His ability to read routes, mirror receivers, and close on the ball is among the best in the league when he's healthy. Pairing him with Jevon Holland in the secondary could turn Miami's defensive backfield into a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. And let's not forget, the Dolphins already boast one of the fastest defenses in the NFL. With Alexander in the mix, not only do they add experience, but they also raise the football IQ of the unit as a whole. That's the kind of addition that makes you not just playoff competitive, but championship caliber. It's no wonder the city is buzzing. And then there's the locker room factor. Alexander is known as a passionate, vocal presence on the field, a player who brings fire and leadership. While some have questioned his temperament in the past, sources close to him suggest that he's been looking for a fresh start and a team that truly values his voice. Miami, it seems, is offering just that, with a young, energetic roster and a coaching staff that embraces personality and swagger. Alexander could thrive both on and off the field. Veterans in the Dolphins locker room are reportedly excited about the addition, viewing him as someone who can bring playoff experience and elevate the entire defense. For a team looking to build momentum and break through in a loaded AFC, those intangibles could be just as important as what shows up on tape. It's the kind of locker room shift that can ripple through an entire season, of course. As with any big signing, there are skeptics. Some analysts are questioning the timing of the move and the money reportedly involved. Jaire Alexander, while talented, has struggled to stay on the field in recent seasons. If the Dolphins are committing significant cap space to him, it could limit their flexibility in other areas. And then there's the question of chemistry. How quickly can he adapt to a new system, build rapport with his teammates, and regain his top-tier form? The Dolphins are betting that his upside outweighs those concerns, but the NFL is unforgiving. If this doesn't pan out, Miami could find itself hamstrung by a contract and a defensive fit that doesn't quite work. Still, most in the know believe that the front office has done its homework and that this is a calculated risk, not a desperate reach. The upside is just too enticing to ignore. What makes this move even more intriguing is what it signals for Miami's overall strategy. In recent seasons, the Dolphins have gone from rebuilding to playoff hopefuls, and now they seem poised to challenge for the AFC crown. Signing someone like Alexander shows they're not content with just making the playoffs. They want to make a deep run. It's a bold shift in tone, and one that fans have been craving. The Dolphins haven't been to the Super Bowl since 1984, and while they've had flashes of promise, Sustained success has eluded them. This kind of aggressive roster move suggests a front office that believes the window is open now and is willing to spend, risk, and push to capitalize on it. Whether that results in trophies remains to be seen. But the intent is clear. Miami is done waiting for the future. They believe the future is here. Meanwhile, back in New York, the mood is starkly different. The Jets have been building patiently, stockpiling young talent, and looking for the final pieces to complete their puzzle. Missing out on Jaire Alexander isn't just a personnel blow, it's a psychological one. The team had quietly built momentum, and landing a star corner to pair with Sauce Gardner would have been a crowning moment of the offseason. Instead, they're left scrambling, forced to revisit Plan B scenarios in a thinning free agent market. There's talk that the Jets may now pivot to trade possibilities or target lesser-known veterans. But the sting of losing Alexander to a division rival is very real. It's a reminder that in the NFL, timing is everything. One day you're building a juggernaut. The next, your blueprint gets hijacked. The Jets may recover, but this moment could linger far into the season. As for Jaire Alexander himself, only time will tell how this chapter unfolds. The Dolphins are betting on his talent, his drive, and his ability to be the missing piece in a defense that already had potential. For Alexander, Miami offers sunshine, a fresh start, and a legitimate shot at winning. It's a gamble for both sides, but one that's already capturing headlines and stirring debate. Fans are excited, rivals are frustrated, and the NFL world is watching. If this rumor proves true and all signs point to it being more than just smoke, then the Dolphins may have just added the final piece to their defensive puzzle. In a league defined by matchups, schemes, and momentum, that could make all the difference. Jaire Alexander to Miami. Believe the whispers, because sometimes the biggest moves happen in the quietest ways, and this one is shaking the entire AFC East to its core. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.